In this video, I'm going to be deleting the oil injection system on my 2024 KTM 300 EXC TBI. The KTM 2024 EXC and XCW throttle body injection two-stroke bikes have an oil injection system, and you can easily tell whether it has oil injection by looking for the oil filler cap here. Which is very convenient to use. While the oil injection system is convenient, if it did fail, it would cause the engine to seize, and you'd end up with a big repair bill. Although personally, I've had very good experience with the TBI bikes I've owned, and I've never had a oil injection pump fail on me. It is a concern, and for the TBI bikes, it's a very easy modification to make to delete the system. So I'm keen to increase the reliability and also improve the simplicity of the bike, so that I'm less likely to have any issues while out riding. So I'll start by explaining the oil injection system. So you saw the filler cap. That feeds down a pipe in the frame into this tank here. And inside this tank is the oil level sensor. You can see the wiring coming out the back of it here, and there's a connector down here. This tank feeds via this pipe to another tank, and the oil injection pump is underneath this tank. And then this tube is connected to the output of the oil pump here, which feeds down into the reed valve, and it's connected just here and feeds into the reed valve. With previous generation TBI bikes, which had the injectors mounted on the cylinder, one here and one the other side, and they would inject fuel into the transfer port in the cylinder, and you had no fuel going through the crankcases. So if you wanted to convert to running premix, it meant that you had to relocate the injectors from the cylinder, typically back to the reed valve assembly, and use a block there to allow for the premix to flow through the crankcase and lubricate the crankshaft bearings and conrod bearing. With the throttle body injection bikes, the injectors are mounted underneath the throttle body, which means that fuel is being injected into the throttle body and then passes through the crankcase. So you can delete your oil injection system and start using premix without the need to relocate the injectors. To delete the oil injection system, there are several different ways or methods you could choose. By far the easiest way is just to simply unplug the oil pump, which is this green connector here, and you'll need a resistor to plug into that connector. To trick the ECU into thinking that the oil pump is still connected. And you can leave everything else connected. If you want to convert back to oil injection, all you need to do is unplug your resistor, plug that connector back onto your oil pump, make sure the tube here is bled of air, and start using oil injection. What I'm going to do is completely remove the oil injection system, so including the filler, the pipe, both of the tanks, the pump. I will still need a resistor on this connector, so the ECU thinks the pump is still running, otherwise it'll throw a error code. And then I can just plug off this tube. At a later stage, I might replace the reed valve with a different one, non-stock reed valve. But for today, I'm just going to plug it off. And here you can see the oil pump delete resistor dongle kit I got. It includes the resistor dongle, a couple of caps, a oil line plug, some zip ties, and a couple of stickers. I'm going to be only using the resistor dongle because I'm going to be removing all of the other equipment. This kit is actually intended for TBI bikes, but the resistor dongle works fine on the TBI bikes as well. The oil pump part number is exactly the same on the TBI as TBI bikes. And a note regarding the oil level sensor, which is here. That's going to be unplugged. The ECU will not throw a code the all level light lamp on the dash, which is a red LED, will come on. So it will not affect the running of the bike if the all level sensor is disconnected. And here you can see a summary of the consequences of disconnecting various things. I have tested each of these, and hopefully will save you a lot of time and head scratching. So first is the oil pump. If you disconnect it, a engine light blink code will appear on the dash. And to prevent that, you'll need to plug in a resistor dongle into the oil pump connector. And unplugging the oil level sensor will not produce a engine light blink code, and so no workaround is required for that. And the biggest surprise to me was regarding the oil level indicator LED on the dash. If you unplug that, a engine light blink code will appear. And the workaround to prevent that is to leave the LED connected. If you don't want it in the red holder, you can tuck it away and zip tie it to the wiring. And important note, if you do run the bike with the oil pump unplugged and no resistor dongle, or unplug the all level indicator LED, the blink code will need to be reset by your KTM dealer using the dealer tool. I learnt this the hard way, and went to my dealer today, had them reset, went through each of these items, and figured out what produces blink code, what doesn't. So hopefully this will save you a lot of time and hassle. Currently I don't know any other method of resetting these codes other than the KTM dealer tool. Regarding mounting of the tanks, the forward tank, which the oil filler feeds into, has a single bolt here to hold it onto the frame, and the rear tank with the oil pump underneath it mounts with these two bolts here. Okay, so the first step is I'm going to unplug the oil level sensor connector, and to do that I need to cut the zip ties on the harness in this area. And with the zip ties cut, you can trace from the oil level sensor, trace the wiring, and it goes to this black connector here, and then you can go ahead and unplug that. And to remove it, you just press this tab down here and pull. Comes apart easily. And you should weatherproof this connector. I'm going to put some silicone grease in the connectors so they don't get any corrosion or moisture in there, and then seal it off. And I'm using some 3M vinyl Scotch tape. This is model number 88. I really like this. It's quite stretchy, sticks well. Recommend this for this type of job. And then I'm going to I'll bend that over and then put another bit round, and that should be pretty much watertight. It's, as you saw, it's got the silicone grease in there as well, so even if some moisture does get in there, it's not going to corrode the terminals. And my plan to remove the tanks is to remove the rear shock, raise the subframe, and pull them out to the back of the bike. And I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the engine brace. I'd probably be able to get them out without removal, but taking this off will allow you to see much better. So it's pretty easy to take off, so I'm going to take it off. Okay, so with the engine brace off, you get a much clearer view of the oil pump here, the connector for the oil pump, and the tube going from the oil pump to the reed block. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the oil pump connector. You simply press this tab down this way and pull it out. Next, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the oil injection hose from the reed valve. Although I'm taking everything off, I'm doing it carefully so I can refit it if necessary. And yeah, it just pulls off like that. Okay, so next I'm going to remove the oil filler. And it's just held in with one screw here. And then lifts out. And next I'm going to remove the forward tank mounting screw. And next I'm going to remove the rear tank mount screws. And then on the left side of the rear tank, there's a breather hose clipped to it. So you have to remove that before you can remove the tank. And it just unclips on the side. Okay, so as you can see, I've flipped up the subframe. I've moved the throttle body over to the side and I've removed the rear shock. I now have plenty of room to slide out the front tank and filler assembly. And here you can see the full oil injection assembly, which I removed. This section here is over 40 centimeters long, which is why I needed to lift the subframe and move the throttle body out the way and also the rear shock. But other than that, it was pretty easy to remove. Yeah, if you're not sure whether you want to delete it and just want to try it for a little bit, my recommendation would be to leave this in and just disconnect the oil pump connector and plug in a dongle. I did weigh this. It weighs 467 grams, so almost half a kilogram. Yeah, it's not a huge weight, but if you're not going to be using it, I would remove it. And one thing to note is I drained the oil from the assembly once removed off camera. That was no problem at all. There's no need to drain it before you remove it. And to plug the reed valve oil injection port, I'm using a short piece of hose with the correct diameter, 2 hose clips, and I made up this little bung out of some aluminium to plug one end. And here you can see I've plugged in the resistor dongle into the oil pump connector. And I've also tidied up all the wiring in this area and made sure there's nothing to interfere with the fuel tank. And it's a little bit difficult to see, but I used a couple of zip ties to hold the oil pump resistor dongle and also the oil level connector to the mounting point for the rear oil tank on the frame. And to cover the hole in the frame, I just used some waterproof tape. I might make a cover later, but for now, the tape should be fine. And the oil level LED, because the oil level sensor is disconnected, it will flash red all the time. So I decided to pull mine out of here, so it normally sits in here. And I put some black electrical tape on it, which should keep dirt out of it and won't annoy me while I'm riding. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, do not disconnect the oil level indicator LED. If you do, you will get an ECU error and you'll need to take the bike to the dealer to reset that. Okay, so I've reassembled the bike. I've got premix in the tank. I'm running 60-to-1 Motorex Cross Power 2T. I've already tested it, made sure the engine light doesn't come on. Everything looks good. And I'm ready for my ride tomorrow.